everyone, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be making a card using this background die from the Stamps of Life. It is the Friends background die. So it says, you'll be able to see it better when it's die cut out, but it says Friends going across several different times, and there are some flowers within the die. I'm also going to be bringing in this set, which is the Fingerprint2Stamp, which is also from the Stamps of Life. Only, instead of using the stamps, I'm actually going to be using the dies to make these a few of these little animals. So we'll be using the dies to do that. And I previously showed this when it just came out on my YouTube channel. I will link that video down below in case you want to take a look at how I created these different stamps. And you can go down to the description box and find that link there. I'm also going to be bringing in the Pastels Everyday Collection paper pad from the Stamps of Life. And I chose to use this paper for the background of my card. And I die cut that with this rounded rectangle die, which comes with the Friends background die. So that is the layer that's going to be behind the background. And then I want to show you how you die cut this. So I'm going to be using the Poppy cardstock. I did put some double-sided adhesive tape on the back. And when you're using a background die, you always want to use the outside rectangle die with it so that it cuts it out of the cardstock. If you don't use this rectangle die and you just cut it like this, then the background will just cut into this cardstock, but I'll still have all these rough edges around the edges. But if I use both dies, it will cut it out in a nice rounded rectangle shape. So I'm just going to use some washi tape to keep those together while they run through my die cut machine, and I'm going to go ahead and run this and I'll be right back. So when that comes out of your die cut machine, you get this fun pattern, and I have the double-sided adhesive on the back. So I'm just going to peel this back, and then you'll just have to be sure that you weed out all the extra little pieces. So here's the background die. You can see all the words Friends going across horizontally on this panel, and then it does have the double-sided adhesive, so I'm just going to line up the corners, and these corners will match up because they're both cut out of the same die. So just line them up and then just press down, and you can see how pretty that is. So you can die cut this out of any color papers you want. I did the pattern paper on the back. If you wanted to do a solid paper on the back, you can. If you wanted to ink blend the back, you can do that. So you can change this up with whatever colors you want. So I'm going to decorate my card front with the dies, and these are actually from the Fingerprint2Stamp set, where you can actually use your fingerprint to stamp the center of the actual animal. And there's various animals: dog, cat, bear, so on and so forth. And again, I'll link the video where I showed this more in depth, but I'm not going to use the stamps. Instead, I'm going to use the dies. Not all of these have actual layering dies. All of them do have shadow dies, but there's only a few with the layering die. So I'm going to choose the dog and the cat, which I've already die cut, and I'm just going to ink up the edges. So the dog I cut out of the Ginger Snap cardstock, and I'm just putting some Ginger Snap ink, and I'm just going to make sure I get in here between his feet just to add some dimension there. And that's going to be backed up on a white shadow layer. And then for the cat, I'm just going to use my Storm ink, which is the same color cardstock that I used to die cut this cat. These images are so small, and sometimes you just need a small image for a card. Sometimes you don't want to just put a large image because then you cover up too much of the card, and that's the case here because I don't want to cover up too much of the word Friends. I want to keep a lot of that showing. So that's why I chose to use these really small die cuts here. So I'm just going to put some glue on and apply these to the shadow layer. Now for the dog, his nose and eyes need to have some pieces pieced in there. So for the nose, I just die cut another dog out of the pink, which is the candy cardstock, and I'm just using the nose part of it to pop a nose in there. And for the eyes, I'm just going to use some of the 3D ink to put some black eyes on there. So I'm going to go ahead and add these to the bottom of my card. So next you can take this die, and if you wanted just to put it on a card base, you can do that. But I'm gonna layer it on one more piece of cardstock just to bring out some of the gray here. This is a piece of the Storm cardstock, and that is measured 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then I will add the entire layer to an A2 size card base, and it's a white A2 size card base cut out of the powdered sugar cardstock. So just adding another layer just gives another extra set of dimension for your card. And then after I layer this on, I'm gonna go ahead and use some of the 3D ink, not only to fill the eyes for the dog, but I'm also gonna fill in some of the flowers. And the 3D ink is something that you wanna do last because it will need time to dry. So here I have my 3D ink pen. This is just a white glitter, and I'm just gonna go through here and just add some to the centers here of my flower. You can also use Nuvo drops, which is what I'm gonna do here. I'm just gonna add a center with the yellow. The nice thing about the 3D ink that I'm using, it actually has glitter in it, which is really nice. And I'm just gonna add a couple more. I'm not gonna do all of them, but it just adds for some nice dimension to the card. All right, so I ended up doing them all. I know I said I wasn't gonna do them all, but I decided to go ahead and finish them up. So here I'm just gonna take the black 3D ink and I'm just gonna put a little dot for the eyes of the dog. And I'm just gonna let those dry. Maybe I should do the cat too, since that way I can have a consistent look here. I'll just put a little tiny bit there on the cat. All right, and then there's my card. So that was a pretty easy card, just using a background die. You don't have to do much to it because you have a background that is really the centerpiece of your card. So I will link all the products down below in the description box in case you're interested in any of these products. Have a great day and thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more card making tutorials. Bye-bye, everyone.